ma imalo na imebile emebi maka ọ dabala day Chenoso mola bobi kabanketi ilu adọrọkwa men funny before you call you consider about the road you love a journey oyo be alu lacha yeman connect kumbocha dapuzi alu mana chimolu oge mlu akwa mgbochi ekewa so de asilana nde mangota montelocha Rising sun and shine, the feather buona me kwa obeloge na ega no akai ega no akai me cholia ega no mpotwai obeloge wanne ega no akai aina maputa ega no mpotwai hustle go pay, money go there. Mwango kwilu olu day by day. Aya taga ofu seka ge, but I'm on victory no on the way. Dema koja. Shade the wine me ni aloba. Oyo dinaka be para. Olutema kampata yo kwankosa. No retreat, no surrender, no stretch until we take over. Kanse kwado, so chuguma. Ida anunta wageba. Soon go no divide. Boys are the governor wise. If you me at twice, if you teach a boom when grace arrive. Obeloge na, ega no akai. Me cholia, ega no mpotwai. Obeloge wanne, ega no akai. Aina maputa, ega no mpotwai. Imalo na imebile emebi maka ọ dabala day Chenoso mola bobi kabanketi ilu adọrọkwa men funny before you call you consider about the road you love a journey oyo be alu lacha yeman connect kumbocha dapuzi alu mana chimolu oge mlu akwa mgbochi ekewa so de asilana nde mangota montelocha Rising sun and shine, the feather buona me kwa obeloge na ega no akai me cholia ega no mpotwai obeloge wanne ega no akai aina maputa ega no mpotwai. Hustle go pay, money go there. Mwango kwilu olu day by day. Aya taga ofu seka ge, but I'm on victory no on the way. Dema koja. Shade the wine me ni aloba. Oyo dinaka be para. Olutema kampata yo kwankosa. No retreat, no surrender, no stretch until we take over. Kanse kwado, so chuguma. Ida anunta wageba. Soon go no divide. Boys are the governor wise. If you me at twice, if you teach a boom when grace arrive. Obeloge na, ega no akai. Me cholia, ega no mpotwai. Obeloge wanne, ega no akai. Aina maputa, ega no mpotwai.
Okay. We also have a report from the Chief of Defense Staff telling the House of Reps that Simon Ekpa is frustrating their efforts in the southeast. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, that is General Christopher Musa, has accused self-proclaimed Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa of undermining the efforts of security forces in the southeast. General Musa said this while heading a delegation of other service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police during their appearance before the House of Representatives on Tuesday, November 21. In the aftermath of Nnamdi Kanu's arrest, Ekpa had asserted his leadership in the agitation for the restoration of Biafra. I wouldn't want to call it the restoration of Biafra, but that's the word that's being used in the media. For Biafra, agitation for Biafra, not restoration, but because it will seem as if it had been a country before. It is widely believed that Ekpa is allegedly providing financial support to armed groups operating in the southeast, who often enforce the sit-at-home order declared by Ekpa. Accusing Finland of safeguarding Ekpa, Musa urged the federal government to initiate diplomatic dialogue with the Finnish government and invite the Finnish ambassador to Nigeria to address the concerns surrounding the activities of the agitator. Musa acknowledged the efforts of the military and other security agencies in maintaining peace in the southeast, but he expressed concern that Ekpa's comments and actions were undermining these efforts. When I was reading this story, I was just remembering the Umaru Dikko incident. You know, this is Nigeria, where we attempted to smuggle someone in a bag or a box back to Nigeria in those days. You don't mess with Nigeria. But how can someone stay in a foreign country and be instigating the people back home to be killing themselves? Because as far as I'm concerned, the Southeasterners are killing themselves because the bulk of the victims are Southeasterners as well. So how can someone be instigating people to fight a country and then to kill himself, and another country is shielding this person? Or is it that Nigeria is not doing enough to make sure that this person is brought to book or something? What other way do they define terrorism and terrorism financing and terrorism enabling? You know, is he not an enabler of terrorism in the southeast of Nigeria? So why is the Finnish government keeping him? There are a lot of questions that maybe we need to ask the diplomats to give us answers to so that we get to know why it is so difficult to get this man out of the way, get him arrested, put him in jail, or prosecute him, or one thing or the other that can be done to the man. So maybe we'll be asking, like I said, a diplomat or people who are in the know to tell us why it's so difficult. Because, okay, for instance, Nigerians have just been told why the Super Eagles coach cannot be fired. So we have seen reasons with them. So let's also know why Ekpa cannot be arrested or cannot be taken to court or something. Let's get to know so that we put our minds at rest. He's in a faraway land, but financing possibly the terrorism that is going on in the southeast. Those are people who are some of the most industrious people in Nigeria, if not the most industrious people in Nigeria. And Monday market used to be like the in thing. When you're talking business, people were coming from every part of
the governor of the state himself obeys the sit-at-home on Monday, and then the civil servants that work in government house obey the sit-at-home, and government shut down on Mondays. It means the real governor of Southeast is Simon Ekpa, ruling the Southeast from Finland.
The more they attack me, the stronger I become. Because it is like you are pouring fuel in the strength that is in me. So bring it on. But I'm telling you today that we have been able to defeat them. We have Chikota Hanchani and defeated them. What we have done to Nigeria and their agent in Biafra struggle is that we gathered them together. This particular sit-at-home, I told you people, will be the beginning of the liberation of Biafra. You see, the actions, the activities of Biafrans in this sit-at-home have gathered all the sabos together, all the saboteur together, and we defeated them. Bam! It is mysterious. How many of you will ever believe in this life that everybody will gang up against Biafra.
Land of the rising sun, we love and cherish, beloved homeland of our brave heroes. We must defend our lives, or we shall perish. We shall protect our hearts from all our foes. But if the prize is death for all we hold dear, then let us die without a shred of fear. Hell to Biafra, consecrated nation, oh fatherland, this be our solemn pledge. Defending thee shall be our dedication. Spilling our blood will count our privilege. The waving standard which emboldened thee free shall always be our flag of liberty. We shall emerge triumphant from this ordeal, and through the crucible unscared we'll pass. When we are poised, the wind of battle to yield, we shall remember those who died in mass. Then shall our trumpets peal the glorious song of victory. We score might and wrong. Oh God, protect us from the hidden pitfall. Guide all our movements, lest we go astray. Give us the strength to heed the humanist call, to give and not to count the cost each day. Bless those who rule to serve with resoluteness, to make this kind a land of righteousness. All hail Biafra.
The summary of it. The summary of it is that we cannot run away from this stark reality that Nigeria has to be restructured. Whether it is the restructuring that gives more powers to states, or a return to the regional arrangement of the past, or the restructuring that allows parts of the country that want to go and stand as independent nation, whatever that restructuring means, we must not run away from it. And our position as bishop, and I must say now, I'm carrying you along as a diocese, is that if we continue to pretend that all is well, we will keep bleeding profusely. And very soon, there might be nothing called Nigeria. Instead of our killing ourselves under the pretext of remaining one indivisible nation. Some people say Nigeria's unity is non-negotiable. I want to say it is negotiable. This thing is like marriage. You don't force two people to get married. We have been forced into a marriage that is hurting us. And every day we are dying and pretending to be one. Please, instead of our killing ourselves, and there will be no Nigeria left, let us come to a round table like this. Bring Nigeria as a cake. Bring one big knife and share the cake. Share the cake. Share the cake.
You have to share the cake so that you stop killing people. We salute all Biafrans and lovers of freedom all over the world. Friends of Biafra, enemies of Biafra, haters of Biafra, and those that are praying to see the BRGIE fall. Your doom has just begun, because the Biafran Republic government in exile, the de facto government in the homeland, will continue to work stronger and stronger. This is not 1960. This is not IPOB Nigeria. No, this is the Biafran Republic government in exile under the leadership of Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku, the ambassador of Universal Peace Award. I salute all of you from wherever you're watching from. And to those foolish people that are contracted for them to come into Biafra land, to kill, maim, rape, and destroy our women and children, your days of reckoning has come. And we will continue to haunt you until you see no breath, because you cannot come to Biafra land, kill Biafran women and children, and go scot-free. Enough is enough. This is not the time past. This is the government of Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku, the man that can stand the test of time, the one that your gossips, your blackmail, your propaganda and slander cannot take him off the rail, the one that you cannot kidnap and extradite an extraordinary rendition down to Nigeria, the one that Finland has stood their ground behind him, because Finland understands what they went through before they got their freedom. Finland fought for their own freedom, so they understand what freedom is all about. And they understand what it means to deal with a tyrannic government. So that man that you people cannot kidnap, and that man that you will not be able to kidnap, and that man that has come to be your end, this government is under his leadership, and it will continue to be, because he's the only man that can stand the test of time for now. Until our supreme leader is released, he is in charge. So love it, hate it, despise it, or do not accept it. It doesn't add one iota to what we are doing. It's only when you now decide to kill all the people that donate money to the Biafran Liberation Army, the Biafran Resistance Fighters, the Biafran Navy, and all the armed groups to fight and destroy the terrorists coming to Biafra land, that is when I could even look at you. But when you are not able to stop all the donors and all the funds that we are getting and all the political, diplomatic, an armed struggle support that we are getting from all angles, from those that understand what it means to be free and to fight to liberate their people. Then I will still be doing you like this. I welcome you all. And the foot soldiers that have been contracted to come into Biafra land, I want to say a very big thank you for all of you for coming to rejuvenate Biafra land with a lot of manures, because as you are decomposing in the far forests of Biafra, our manures are increasing on the ground, and some crops that did not grow before are beginning to sprout out of the soil. So that means some of your useless bodies are good for cultivation of crops. So please continue to come and do not reject every offer and contract given to you by One Nigeria in order to come and massacre and destroy Biafrans. Continue to come, because we are solidly waiting for all of you. We have set up a defense mechanism. We will pull you out from your enclaves. You come in, by the time you go out, your flanks will be open up. And you will understand what it means to be a Biafran in 2023. This is not 1960. We shall always repeat and remind you. So I thank all the donors that are making sure this liberation are moving forward. Before we go on, and before I give the mic to my ministers in the house, the video that I played, the man said Simon Ekpa is using his money to fund the Biafra Liberation Army. Let us correct that misconception. Simon Ekpa is not using his money to fund. It is Biafrans that are using their money to fund their liberation. He also said he will not address our restoration of Biafra as a restoration, that he will address it as a agitation. That is because you are silly, because you are a conventional media journalist of One Nigeria who wants to be politically correct. The time that we agitated had come and gone. We are no more agitating. We are in liberation mode to restore Biafra. We have passed the level of agitation. That was when you used to see us hit the street, protest and carry placard and flags, move from one port to another, calling people and asking them, please come to our aid. We no longer agitate. We no longer write petitions to people to come and help us. No, we are carrying our burden on our own. We are on our own. And that is why the Biafran people have come together unanimously to make sure they have funds to sustain their security and to destroy the assailants that are coming into Biafra land to kill their women and children and to rape them. We don't want Biafra land to become what is happening in Nasarawa and in the far north. That is why we are sustaining the momentum in our security architecture. So if you don't understand, get it right now and understand very well. You also asked another question and say, Omar Odiko was to be haulaged in a bag to bring down to Nigeria and to be smuggled. And you said nobody should try Nigeria because you people can always smuggle people, human beings, and bring them back to Nigeria. And you are happy and proud to be a Nigerian from a country where your government will kidnap people and put them inside bags and haulage them all the way from UK, America, and bring them to Nigeria. That is what a journalist of a Nigerian extract is so proud about, to speak on the international media. That is very, very proud that his country, a terrorist country, can put somebody inside Ghana must go and bring the person all the way from India, Gambia, Ghana, America, UK, Asia, and Australia, and bring the person to Nigeria. Hello, Mero. You also said you want to know what act of terrorism means, that what we are doing is terrorism. The Fulani terrorist that is massacring your women and children in your communities every day are no terrorists to you. It is the Biafran de facto government in the homeland. It is the Biafran Republic government in exile. It is the Prime Minister and the entire Biafran people that have come together to do what we call self-preservation, self-defense, and self-determination to stop these terrorists from massacring their women and children. That is what you understand as a journalist to be terrorism. You said you want to see the way of why it is so difficult to kidnap this Simon and bring down to Nigeria. It is difficult because he is the man of the moment. He is the man that none of you can kidnap. He is the man that cannot be kidnapped like Omar Odiko, like you said. You said nobody should try Nigeria because Omar Odiko was possible to put inside bags. So it is the man that you cannot put inside bag. It is the man that God has ordained for this very time, because many have come and gone. Many have collected money and abandoned Biafra and abandoned the Biafran people. Without him, people in our communities would have been buried every day. And that is why you cannot kidnap him, because the God of Biafra is solidly behind him. And that is because he has not thought of betraying the Biafran people. Because every other one that are no more, they have betrayed and lost the trust and gone their ways. Since Clemente was kidnapped, this is the only man that has stood the test of time. This is the only man that have made sure Biafra land is defended at all costs when they are massacring your women and children in broad daylight. You cannot do anything. You can only sit down and be grumbling like an incoherent Nigeri, talking on the social media just to please the white and brown and yellow envelope given to you. That is how bad and barbaric and bastardized journalism has become in one Nigeria. So we appreciate the entire Biafran people and lovers of freedom that are all here. And there we go to my ministers in the house. Let me start by acknowledging the presence of Battle Cry, the man that cries for Biafra. They were watching again.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having me in the show. And I greet all Biafrans wherever you are watching us. And good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching. I thank you, our sister Betty at Biafra and Chris, who are on the show. The Chukwu bless you all.
Thank you
all for coming. Thank you for showing face, and other people who are commenting and contributing here today. Yes, as we move, we are moving gallantly and we're not looking back. Our mission is to restore Biafra. We are no longer agitating. And anybody who is telling you that Biafra Republic has not been declared, that person is joking. It was after the convention. Every other thing we are doing, it's just a preamble to show the world that we are capable to have our own nation. And we have seen that many obstacles that have been on the way to make sure the zoo government plan, the way they did to our leader Nnamdi to go after the prime minister, all failed woefully. What a shame. So without much ado, I think we have many other things to do, but for now, I just want to thank you for having me in the show, my comrades and the viewers. Thank you from here.
Thank you, Wanchineke. I go over to Ada Biafra. Betty, Ada Biafra, you have the mic. Welcome.
Thank you, my minister. Good evening, my comrades and the fellow Biafrans all over the world. I greet you all. Thank you for having me. I am seizing this opportunity to express my gratitude to our Prime Minister, who has completely and totally stepped into the shoes of our Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I pray God for the release of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has been incarcerated for 2 years and 5 months now. Our prayer goes after him and for his release. I believe that those who abducted him must have known that with the presence of our Prime Minister, their aim has become very irrelevant. They wanted to abduct Onyendu so that Biafra will be a bygone matter. Little did they know that another tiger is around. So I'm urging our people to please try and donate generously. At least today you can see what is going on. Because when Onyendu created ESN, that very Christmas of 2020, our people really enjoyed their Christmas at home. So if we donate generously again this year, it will go towards maintaining the Biafra Liberation Army and the rest of them. so that our people will also have a very wonderful Christmas this year. There has been a lot of losses back home. I don't even know how most families will be celebrating the Christmas, but it has been a thing of our tradition as Christians, and even those who are not Christians, they do join us in celebration of Christmas. So another thing I have to let my people understand and realize is that there's a voice over of Onyendu that says, if no one is asking to arrest you as a freedom fighter, then you are not a good freedom fighter. Or if what you are doing, nobody is talking about it, that means that what you are doing is not effective at all. So from the calling of our Prime Minister by the minister, a whole defense staff, chief of army in a whole nation, calling and, accusing our PM as causing a sabotage to what they are doing in the entire Nigeria, or in particular the Southeast, that means that our Prime Minister is doing something, and that what he is doing is effective. Because you people will agree with me that that Minister of Defense never mentioned Chinasa Nworu or Chike Doziem or whoever. So it shows very widely that what our Prime Minister is doing is showing. So effectively, he needs our support to continue doing what he is doing. We love what our Prime Minister is doing. He has never failed us. The only thing he needs is our financial support. Ndị Igbo si n'ofe dị mma no ego gburie. Unu amago na Christmas arọ a ka ndị be anyị wekwalu n'obi aṅụrị gbaa ya, ka a tụọ ego ka e wee na-asọpọtụ ndị amị. So aga m arapụ unu ebe a, ọ ga-adịrị ndị Biafra niile mma. Ebe onye anọ na Chukwu ga-echedo unu, chedo ụmụ unu, nye unu ezigbo ọrụ, nye unu ezigbo business. Ise. Thank you, my minister.
Thank you, Ada Biafra. Thank you so much. Thank you. And to all of you listening to us, today's broadcast may be very staining to some of you, and today's broadcast may as well be disagreeing to some of you, and it may also hit the minds of some people that were not supposed to have watched today's broadcast. But we want you to watch it with all love and hatred and passion, because what people listen to every day is what engraves the minds of the people. Now, what controls the minds of the people is what you allow them to be exposed to. That is why when we were little in school, languages that we find ourselves speaking within the environment we find ourselves is what influences our capability. The way of life of the people we find around ourselves, that is the culture, is what influences how we live and how we go on. So we've come to understand that these criminals that call themselves pastors and bishops and prophet and prophetess have done what? Destroyed the mindset of the indigenous people that are being massacred every day by the Fulani terrorists. The Fulani terrorists have imams in their churches, as they call it, mosque. And in those churches, what do they teach them? They teach them jihad. They teach them how to cock a gun. They teach them how to detonate bombs. They teach them how to make use of AK-47. They teach them how to make use of a grenade. They teach them how to make use of a machine gun. And they even teach them who they need to make use of the weapons on. They make them to understand that you that is not of the same faith with them are their enemies, and they have to describe you as an infidel. Dr. Mai Lafia, who is late today, had an intel from the terrorists in the north that there is this plan of total annihilation of the Christendom, and that they will do it in a systematic manner, starting from level to some level, and then the people will be flushed out in numbers. The Christian Association of Nigeria, with their foolishness and stupidity that is compared to nothing else in this world, because of the white and brown envelope that they collect every day, they decide to do what? Turn deaf ears to what he said. And since that day till this day, many African Christian Association of Nigerian officials have been massacred, and their heads were hung on a spike. By who? Fulani terrorists. This continues on a daily basis. The congregational members are part and parcel of the people that are being massacred by Fulanis. But what the Christian religious leaders loves and prefers to do is to preach about salvation, and to preach about tithe and offering, and to preach about riches and glory, and to preach about you going to heaven, when the end that you're living, you're already living in hell. Now you're preaching for somebody to go to heaven. You are not preaching for somebody to go and carry his sword. In time, is it not Ecclesiastes that says that there is time for everything? The time for you to sing praises and the time for you to stop singing praises. The time for you to laugh and the time to cry. The time to be friendly and the time not to be friendly. The time to shy and the time to bold up. A time for you to be a coward and a time for you to stand your ground. Time for you to pray and a time for you not to pray. A time for you to pray spiritually with Bible and with your olive oil, and a time for you to now pray with mechanical and physical weapon, which is what the Fulani terrorists are doing. The Fulani terrorists will go with their pamphlet of prayer. They will be praying. While they are praying, their guns and ammunition are stuck to their back. The AK-47, they don't keep it outside. They hang it. If they have to sit down on the ground, they keep it where they are, because they know anything can happen. They know they are here for the spiritual communion, and the physical is about to happen any moment from now. Jesus Christ going round with his disciples. The disciples imbibed in his teachings, and they understood what he was preaching, but yet they all had their weapons hung to themselves everywhere they were going. That is why when they came to arrest Jesus Christ, the police that came to arrest Jesus Christ and the betrayers, the disciples of Jesus Christ that were with him that time, they had their weapon to use and slice somebody's ear. If they were not good at making use of the weapons, if they were not good at self-defense, if they were not good at self-preservation, if they were not good at self-determination, how would they have been able to defend themselves physically? Spiritual defense is different from physical. This is what we are saying. Our women and children have been massacred for long. Thanks to this present Biafran, thanks to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, thanks to Mazi Simon Ekpa, who have stood the ground to say enough is enough. The other day you saw a baby shot on the belly, and the intestine of a baby was floating out. A baby was shot with AK-47. A baby was not shot with catapult. A baby was shot with AK-47 in Biafra land. Up till today, as we speak, you have not heard of any of the criminal enablers of the terrorist leaders of one Nigeria in Biafra land come out to say anything. Not even the pastors, not even the bishops, not even the preachers, not even the prophets, because they are all prophets. They are making profit everywhere. Then I wonder why they even have this Bible in the first place. This is the book of Luke. The book of Luke chapter 22 verse 36 tells you that he that had no weapon or no sword, let him sell his cloak and buy one. But what does your criminal pastors and bishops do today? What they do is that as you are so vulnerable, because one Nigeria has put you in one chance where you cannot think straight, you cannot decide your left from the right. It is one thing for you to have a government that makes your life to be miserable. It is another thing for you to now be able to even think straight. So all your thinking and reasoning will be upside down. You cannot reason well. So they put you in one chance condition so that you come back begging them. So when the criminal pastors and prophets and bishops tells you that your only solution is to come and sow seed, your only solution is to come and pay tithes and offerings. Some of you are doing truck pushing. You are pushing truck to make ends meet. You make 100 naira in a day. They tell you come and give them 10%. So you go and give 10%. If they have church services 5 times in a week, you must put maybe 10 or 20 naira. How much is gone so? This is the business from which the pastors are making their earnings. And this is what they use to sustain their families. And they are not using this money to support Biafra in any way. They are robbing you to sustain their own family because it is their own business. In the Bible times, tithe and offering were not used by the pastors and bishops to enrich themselves and families. It was used for rehabilitation of the poor masses and the people that cannot feed, the less privileges. That is what tithe and offering were used for. Tithe and offering were also used to build more synagogues so that people can go and have a wider place of worship and they can be comfortable. And even when Jesus Christ went into the synagogue and saw that they have turned it into a marketplace where they now exchange money and make so much money, what did he do? He scattered the place. Today, it is where you people are making so much money that you have to sit down and plan of how to go and buy estate. You plan to go and do what? Buy private jets. You plan to go and buy armored cars. Suleiman bought armored car. So when he was attacked by terrorists, they did not get him. They only got his members that they did not put inside the armored cars. It is these same members that grew the tithe and offering that afforded the armored car, but they could not enter inside. They had to stay in a van, which is not armored, so that any weapon that comes can get them. But pastor and bishop and family, you have to be inside the armored car because you need to be well protected. Mental slavery. The tithe and offering that you raise is what buys the armored car, is what buys the private jet. And they will be preaching to you that blessed are the poor in spirit, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God. And it is good for you to be poor now, then when you go to heaven, you become rich. But why are they being rich now? Why do they want to be rich now? Why don't they wait until when they get to heaven before they now collect the richness? Why do they prefer to be buying the private jets now and the Rolex watches now? Why do they prefer to use the iPhone 15 Pro that their children are using now? And why do they prefer to use the latest car and the armored cars now? Why don't they wait until they get to heaven, they go and manufacture all these big things and use them in heaven? We don't have problem with church. We don't have problem with Bible. We only have problem with the people that are misinterpreting it for you, who are using it as business. America that you see today, freedom fighting started from the church. They were preaching it from the church. When you hear of Martin Luther King, go and ask of how his name came out and from where the emancipation of the people came out. It did not come out from the bush. It was from the pulpit. There are thousands and many others who made sure they stood their ground to make sure freedom came. And they all started from the congregation. They were preaching the message of political engagement and the reason of the indigenous people being part and parcel of the freedom fighting and why they need to be inclusive, because it is their self-determination, self-preservation, and self-defense that will bring them to the fore. What are your criminal, political, religious leaders preaching today? How many of them can defend you? How many of you have been massacred in your congregations by the terrorists? When one of your prelates or when one of your bishops or priests are captured by Fulani terrorists, you poor people will still come back to come and contribute money to go and pay to terrorists to release your pastors. But when you are kidnapped, your own case is that your family will come back to give a very disheartening testimony in the church that you were kidnapped, some people were massacred, or you were luckily escaped, or this happened to you, or this happened to you. But when it happened to the bishop or pastor, you all came foolishly to sit down and contribute money and say you want to go and bail pastor, pay ransom, and bring pastor out from the hands of the Fulani terrorists. But pastor cannot sell his properties, which were gotten from your tithe and offering, to come and pay and bail you from the hands of terrorists. No, pastor cannot do that. But you will do it because the mental slavery that has been put into your head has gone too far. All our traditional worship centers and priesthoods, they were burnt down when they brought the foreign religion to you, right? For those of you that will say, oh, we are going to attack religion, we are not attacking religion. So if we were to go by how they had to implement this Christianity to you, you will understand that they had to destroy your own tradition, your ways of worship, your own existence, your own way of life, your culture, which you all had your ways of doing things. You had democracy practiced by you, the Biafran people, before the Americans, the Europeans, the Asians had to come and copy. You had the Okisos, the Igwes, the elders of council that you always set up to sit down and to settle disputes without looking for the white court and without looking for the white lawyer. That was democracy that you practiced. The white people were now thinking and saying, how come these people are not so exposed already to their civilization, but yet they have their well-harnessed ways of doing things? So it is not by your civilization or your religion that made all this to happen. The Biafran people are age-long people that had civilization in their own ways, their culture and traditions, and their ways of worship and ways of dressing, and everything were going well. Our message today is because of this lackadaisical madness of the political criminal pastors who have put all of you in shambles. We Fulani terrorists are massacring you all, and they are not doing anything. What they are focusing on is their tithe and offering. The next thing is to do miracle, to blow air, and then all of you will go and fall. They will see vision for you, but there is no vision that has been seen by all these criminal political pastors and bishops that can tell that Fulani terrorists are going to invade your communities tomorrow. There are no visions that can tell that this is what you have to do to destroy the Fulani terrorists. There are no visions that can destroy the Fulani terrorists that are coming to massacre all of you. If there is one, please tell me. We want a solution vision, a visionary vision that has been given by any of the criminal political pastors and bishops and the GOs that you have in Nigeria. We want any of it that gives you solution of how to destroy the Fulani terrorists who are massacring your women and children, who are taking over all your lands, who are making you all to become slaves in your own land, who have pushed all of you to the IDP camps. It is the Fulani terrorists that now takes charge of your communities. You, as indigenous people, your own homeland is now IDP camps. Why Fulani takes over your communities? What vision have these your pastors seen to tell you that Fulani terrorists are going to invade your community tomorrow, so that you can now take it and then know what to do before the terrorist comes. Has there been any of them? Please, we are asking questions. If there are, let us know, because we don't know all now. We are learning every day. We are learning every day. So I stand to be corrected. Which bishop, which political criminal pastors and prophets have seen vision to show you that Fulani terrorists are going to kill you, and that this is what you need to do to stop them, and that they are going to do miracle? They are going to do this vision. Let us put one of their miracles on the screen. And that they are going to do this kind of miracle, that they will do this miracle. When they do this miracle, that Fulani terrorists will vanish. This is somebody that said is a security guard. You see that man that stood there, that one that fell down. It's a security guard. I want to ask a very pertinent and question. Can these pastors and bishops that you see them now do the same miracle for Fulani terrorists to go mad? Can they do it for Fulani terrorists to disappear? Can they do it for the Fulani terrorists to all die one time? Because they have been killing and maiming your people and destroying you. It is we that have to make use of physical weapons to combat the terrorists. That is the issue. But all this nonsense that you see here has brainwashed all of you to the extent that when we tell you that your freedom is in your own hands, that it cannot be given to you on a platter of gold, that you need to fight inch by inch, neighborhood by neighborhood, rooftop to rooftop, and then stand your ground to destroy the terrorists. Some of you will say we are attacking religious leaders. Religious leaders that their own end game is just what they will get. So our message is very clear. That you need to wake up. Yes. You need to do what? Wake up. That is what we want you to do. Come out from the mental slavery. Because you have been massacred. You have been so destroyed. And none of these people that you see here doing miracle, seeing vision, and doing all sort of things can do anything to safeguard you. It is all about freedom. And if the Biafran people don't speak, if the Biafran people don't do anything, none of you will be free. And that is why the Biafran Republic government in Ensl is placing a sit-at-home sanction on all of them. Recently, one Nigeria with their governors and the ministers and terrorists and governors and president and all whatnot and all the imam, with UK government, have officially unveiled that Nigeria is jihadist state. Jihadist. Organization of Islamic communities. That is where you are. Then yet, that is where you have all these pastors. So all these people that are doing miracles, they have not opened their mouth to say film, because they have pocketed all of them. Red and brown and yellow envelope. That is why someone like Ebuka will come out to start giving praises to Soludo, praises to Populous Sodema, praises to Dave Bumai, praises to all the killers and enablers of Fulani terrorists in Biafra land, because their pockets are filled with what they want them to do.
It is time for everyone to wake up. Now, the Nigeria Service Chief have joined the chorus of those crying. This particular issue has exposed the heinous truth of what has been going on within the Biafra territory. We understand they have used terrorism, they have used force against everyone, so nobody has got to speak up. But hey, those of you who are in position to speak up, why are you not speaking up? Today they have come to say Nigeria is an Islamic state, and you have pastors who all they do is to scam the people of Biafra. We are going to impose a very heavy sanction on the church, especially those that are having services in Biafra territory, because you have failed to uphold your values as people of God. So the Biafra government is putting you on notice, since the church and Christians in Biafra land have refused to speak up in one voice against the systematic conquest of our own people. We will make you to stand on your toe. You are being addressed as an Islamic state, and you dare not to talk, and you expect the Biafra government to look or overlook you. when you are in a better position to educate your congregation of what is going on in Nigeria. Going forward, we are coming with a very stringent measures against you in Biafra land. Biafra land will no longer be conducive for those who are hiding under Christian and supporting the Islamization and the killing going on in Biafra land, because your voice would go a very long way in bringing the awareness of our freedom to show that we are not accepting Islamic State. But that you have refused to do. All the big pastors, fathers, and whatever, the Biafra government is taking charge very, very soon.
That message is very clear. And to this end, Madam Biafra, I give you the mic. You may give your submission if you so wish.
Hello, my people. As always, I will thank my minister once more for giving me this platform and the opportunity to speak to my people. You know, as I said earlier, we all need to support our prime minister, you know, in everything he is doing. There is a priest that was shown here when we just came in, and I overheard what the priest was saying. He was referring to the toxic relationship, which is the amalgamation of the north, southwest, and southeast of the zoo. We always make reference to the zoo because people are still trapped there, you know. So I urge other priests. I know that most of the people that come to watch us, that the priests, pastors, and reverend fathers are not amongst them, but most of them worship with them. So we will all remember that Jesse Jackson, one of the activists in America that was preaching freedom in America in those days, he is a priest. And so also was Martin Luther King. May his soul rest in peace, because he's late now. I think Jesse Jackson is still alive, you know. And as Christians that we all are in Southeast, we should realize that during the time of the children of Israel, or the Israelites, they always go to war. They never waited for God, even though they knew the covenant between God and their forefathers. They don't wait for anything to come, you know, very close to them, to overwhelm them till this date. And that is where our Lord Jesus Christ hailed from. So they always fight back whenever a situation like this arises. So I urge the priests, the reverend fathers, the pastors, and everyone to speak up, because since this Islamization agenda started, the Christians, especially the Christian heads in the zoo, they don't say anything. They just keep quiet. You know, they need to speak up, like the priest that was shown here initially. I don't know if my minister can show that priest again, so that they will remember what I'm saying. Because we need people like that to be talking. There was a time a priest was abducted at Leru or Kigwe side, and they demanded for 100 million. And the man was pleading, but they never listened to him. Why? Because they knew that church is a congregation where they will find more people and all that. So they demanded for 100 million. And the man pretended because he said that he hailed from that area where he was abducted. So many pastors, so many reverend sisters, reverend fathers have been killed during this attack, you know. So it really beats my imagination why Christians will not rise and rebut this presumption that Nigeria, you know, which is a secular state that is now being addressed as an Islamic state. I have nothing against the Muslims. I have a lot of Muslim friends, very good people, and very nice families, you know. But the radical ones in Nigeria are really, really going to extreme. And we urge these men of God and women of God to speak up on behalf of our people. You know, every time it appears that the North is more in population, but that's not the case. We may be very, very, the size geographically of the South may be small in comparison to the North. North is very vast, but not as populated as the southern part of the country. But they are always claiming that they are more because of the vast nature of their land, you know. So they always, because there's no census to be able to tell us statistically the number of people over there and our own side. So my people, I will leave you here, but let the men and women of God speak up on our behalf and on behalf of those of our people in homeland of Biafra, because we all are not Islamic people. They can't speak for us. They can't. We have to really speak up and protect the image of our people and the religion that we believe in, which is Christianity. Everybody is keeping quiet as if to say that the whole Nigerians, that we are all people that worship as Muslims. That's not true. And they are not more in population as they claim. They are not. They are not at all. So my minister, I have to leave it here. You know, naturally, I personally don't dabble into religious issues because it is never going down well. It never goes down well. I don't know whether that is the reason why the Southerners are not talking at all. Everybody is keeping quiet over this very issue. And they are coming, attacking our people in churches, yet these people are not talking. So I don't know. We have to wake up. We have to wake up. Those of you who belong to some of these churches should tell your men and women of God, the reverend fathers, the bishops, you know, even the Pope, to speak up on behalf of us, because our own lives matter. The life of our people matter a lot. It matters to us. If not for ESN and Biafra Liberation Army, these people would have been going from church to church. I can assure you, because they did it in, is it Oyo or Ogun State? They went there and inside the church massacred a lot of people. And that is always their target. That is their target. So I will leave it here. Thank you, my minister.
Thank you, Ada Biafra. We must continue. Battle Cry, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you have the mic. Wait, before you pick the mic, let's play this audio before you pick the mic.
Fisher, love you all. Watch the video.
Pray, left, right, and center. The more you pray, the worse things become. The more your daughters become prostitutes. The more your men become essentially those that patronize prostitutes. The more your mothers are raped, the more your children can't go to school, the more people are kidnapped for ritual purposes, yet you are praying. But the container you imported from China is coming from a country that does not pray the same way you do. Yet they can make something. Yet they are blessed. But you claiming that you are praying morning, noon, and night, prayer, you have nothing. But because you are African, you cannot see that you have nothing. You are a black person, you cannot see that you have nothing. Your stupidity is so staggering, it is untrue. The stupidity of an average black African is so mind-boggling that it is unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you have problem, you pray. If you have miscarriage, you pray. Everything you pray. If you get Rojas Okorocha, pray. Or if you get to Wazirike, oh, please pray that they can leave you. So when you land your container in Onisha, they will not take 20,000 from you. Those defending you. Go and pray. Go on, killed us. And we are still praying. Haruna killed us. We are still praying. It is that same prayer that led us to allow Omasanda Wachuku to go and representing us, to go and represent after killing us. You kill us, you go and represent Igbo. You kill Igbo people, then you go and represent them. Because you are praying. Our people, you are not praying. You are dabbling in stupidity. It's not prayer. You are being very, very foolish. You're not praying. What can you make? What can you manufacture? What do you have in you to offer as goods and services to other people? Nothing. Only crude oil. Pray. I wish that I'm mistaken. That is the news we're presenting today. It's not finished. We must read it out. There's many of them. There is no day that you get good news from the zoo. It's either somebody has stolen money, and they will tell you they are being blessed. They've been blessed. The bishop there is blessed. He's blessed. He has an entourage. Every week, you go to the bishop's house and give the bishop something to eat. Whereas you are starving. Radio Biafra is looking for funding to go and confront Boko Haram head on. But you go to church, you give them tithe, you give offering, you give them everything in the church. And when you die, do you know what happens? The church will submit their own list. You still pay, even in death, for them to come and bury you. What have they done for you? Have you heard of any church somewhere building a house for anybody, for homeless people? Whereas in England, where we are, I worked for Paddington Churches Housing Association, part of Genesis, one of the biggest housing corporations you have in the whole of England, if not the United Kingdom. Do you know who built houses for people? Paddington Churches Housing Association, PCHA. Is there anywhere people know any church providing housing, subsidized housing for people, ordinary working people? The answer is no. All your life you give tithe. All your life you give offering. Where is your reward? Of course, they will tell you somewhere in heaven, isn't it? But their own reward is here. Why can't, is it Adeboye or is it Adetiloye? Why don't you wait when you go to heaven, you buy aircraft in heaven? Why don't you wait when you go to heaven, you buy private jet? Why don't you wait? And you wear Rolex wristwatches. Why don't you wait for heaven to come for you to do that? Our people must learn. This is ready. We are here to educate you, of course. Do you think we don't speak the truth here? We speak the truth regardless of who is affected. We don't give a damn who is affected. As long as the truth is spoken, that's what drives us, not nonsense. We speak it here without fear. We are without fear before our enemies. Before our enemies, we are without fear. I took an oath to speak the truth always, even if it leads to my death. I will not flinch from it. I shall do so. When you are being led astray, when you are being made to look like a complete fool, we are here to inform you. Your so-called bishop, your so-called archbishop, Stealing every blessed day. Today is Sunday. You have gone to some useless churches and emptied your pockets. No wonder Boko Haram are killing you like insects all the time, all over the place, and nobody's asking after you. Have your bishop asked after you? Your bishop extraordinary in Rome, or the one in Canterbury, or the one anywhere in the USA, are they asking after you? Are they remembering you? But Boko Haram is getting chemical weapons from Iran. Islamic countries are supporting Islamic fighters. What are Christian countries doing? Why are they not supporting you? Because they look at you as a complete idiot who don't know anything. You are a fool. Go and pray. Prayer solves this. Prayer solves that. Go and pray. Kneel and pray. You kneel down and you die there out of stupidity and lack of common sense. This is Radio Biafra, the truth must be preached on this very platform. We are here to do so. We don't want a Biafra full of idiots. If you have economic crisis in the country, you say, oh, go and pray. Instead of you to go and look at the factors of demand and supply, see how you can correct the problem, you go and pray. When you have aircraft in the zoo, you go and pray. Instead of you to go and fix your aircraft and go and buy new ones, you say, the prayer will solve it. Where did you get that hopeless, stupidity, foolish brain from? Black people, they make me sick, very sick. Nigerian youths have been ranked the least happy in the world. They are the saddest in the world, and rightfully so. And some.
Yes, Mwachineke, you have the mic.
Yes, thank you again for having me. What will I say? I'm just short of words comparing with what is going on in our own faith. The scripture said that some trust in chariot and some in horses, but we will trust in the name of Chukwuka. Some who has slaughter or falter, they have fallen down, but we, the liberator of Biafra, we are standing upright, talking about the thing of the religion or faith. It's too sensitive because it's like you're passing one side, another side is leaking. Passing one side, another side is leaking is when you are trying to protect that religion. You see some people abusing it, whether they are top religious or they are lower religious leaders or followers. Some people are gullible. I look at the whole scenario. I don't really know who to support. One thing I've ever prayed to God is that let my faith not faint, because as it is now, compared with the current situation and current affairs, what's going on both in the house of God or going on among the worshippers, is so discouraging. Very, very discouraging. Sometimes you ask yourself, particularly me, I ask God, why these things are like this? Why must it be so? Supposing some people watch this thing or see this thing and lose their faith and say they will not go to church again or they will not worship God, it's another tragedy. That someone's attitude, behavior, reluctancy, and dormancy, and inability to speak, to act, to ravage the situation might cause millions of people to lose their faith. And the one thing I want to tell Biafrans today is that let us count it all unrighteousness among whoever that is sabotaging this Biafra situation, whether the person is using religion to sabotage it, or whether the person is using gang groups to sabotage it, or whether the person is using e-rats to sabotage it. Let's count them as misguided or gullible people or possessed evil incarnate. Whichever, there are many classes of these infiltrators and enablers and saboteurs. Many categories. They are all in diverse. If you want to understand them, you start even categorizing them. If you try to take it the other way around, you start now classifying them in different segments. So it is something of a situation that is so complex. But my encouragement or my counsel to the Biafrans and viewers who are watching us now is that there is no need to lose faith. There is no need to give up. If we are really believers and worshippers of Chukwuokike, as we believe, you should know that the same scripture or the same faith you are standing on said in Proverbs chapter 24 verse 10 that if you fail in the days of your adversaries, it means that your faith is little. So what do? You stand upright, be able to discern the truth and the evil. And I tell you what, the truth will prevail according to the test of time. So looking at people who are misleading or who are being misguided, it will not help us. Let's just, ignore these people, because somehow we might try to see how or decide to focus on them, start talking about them and forget what we are doing, the mission that we have at hand, which is Biafra liberation. It's of sure that Biafra must be liberated. Biafra must be liberated because Oyendu said this is the assignment God has given him to liberate his own people. Let's not forget, in the book of Hosea chapter 12 verse 13, said, by a prophet God delivered the children of Israel. By a prophet they were preserved. So by our leader Oyendu Maazị through the movement of our Prime Minister, Maazị Samuel Ekpa, Biafra must be liberated. Biafra must be delivered. Biafra must be preserved. For surely the expectation of the righteous Biafrans shall not be cut short. So let us hold fast and continue to press on, keep on pressing on and pressing on. At the end of the day, our effort must yield a good result. And once it yields a good result, like our leader said, that it will be like a beacon, a light. The whole world will see it. The reason why the whole world has turned against us is because there is a secret behind this country called Biafra. Biafra is the only country in the world where human beings can kill, can even lynch, military or terrorists can even kill at will. The whole world will not listen. The whole world will not watch. The whole world will not talk. You won't hear it in anywhere. But if it happens in any part of the zoo, like North, you will see media carry it up and down, flashing it everywhere. Zamfara terrorists killed. Today, I think somewhere in Kaduna, about 11 people was beheaded, something like that, on the news today. But the one that is happening in Biafra, you can't hear it anywhere. That is where I look at the zoo media and I hate them with the perfect hatred. Even when Prime Minister was a very huge concern to the Chief of Defense Staff, who went to the House of Rep to complain. how the Prime Minister was sabotaging their efforts. It was on the newspaper. It wasn't even on the television. Just to tell you how wicked and diabolic they are. When I say diabolic, it is understatement. Something that affected the nation, affected the security architecture of the whole nation, could not even be televised on the television live. They seized it, they hide it under the carpet so that nobody will not hear their shame or their defeat. But if Boko Haram defeat them and beheaded the Zoo army, you will see it on the news. They consider even the terrorists more legitimate than the Boko Haram. What a tragedy. Everything in the Zoological Republic is upside down. That is where I get angry. That is where I get angry. I hear the Bishop of Kaduna the other time was in front of the Escobar and his vice president, that the problem of the zoo is not insecurity, that it is diversity, that he too have army escorts who is guiding him. They are not Christian, they are Muslim. They sleep in his house, they eat in his house, they pray in his house according to their own faith. And he is a Catholic bishop, that he doesn't have problem with that. And you are saying, he's saying this kind of thing. The same people told him in front of his face that it's Muslim ticket that will stand. And when they were asked why Muslim ticket, they said they want to promote their Islam. They are not coming to do road or do development or do construction of any business or bring any science or technology, but they choose the Muslim ticket just to promote Islam. In Abuja now, Asorok, there is nothing like Christian chapel, it's only Muslim. They asked the Escobar, why did he choose running mate as a Muslim? He opened his mouth. Among the above 100 and something million Christians in the Zoological Republic, this Escobar, 2 times convict of drugs and money laundering in the US, a certificate forger who went to school as a woman and graduated as a man, opened his mouth, said that he chose Muslim running mate because there is no Christian qualified to be his running mate. There is no Christian eligible to be his running mate. Is it not an insult? And we say we have CAM, we have Christian organization. They went mute. They didn't talk. They didn't challenge it. Nobody heard it on the news. Everybody considered it okay. Being comfortable with that kind of utterance. But can a Christian say that kind of thing and get away with it? They will ask him to resign. That is putting the country in danger, blah, 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 blah. Just like one Okori was saying today in a Punch newspaper when Oba of Benin went to Lagos to visit Lagos State Governor and told him face to face that it was his ancestors from Benin that founded Lagos. And this Okori called Balogun came out today to fault that statement, to counteract it, to rebuke him. That is how it should be. When people try to speak something against your ethnicity, against your religion, against your diversity, you come out to rebuke the person, to counteract it. That is how it should be. But it is only in the Southeast, in a Christendom, you cannot hear that kind of thing. If you like, carry them, chook in their eyes, they will not talk. They keep quiet, as if they are deaf. But if you want to hear, like this guy said, what's his name? This guy that owns Sahara Report, Sowore. He said, if you want to know whether Buhari is active, whether he's able to tackle insecurity in the country, just mention IPOB or mention Nnamdi Kanu. If Buhari is sleeping, he will wake up immediately and tackle it. But if Buhari is eating or relaxing, you told him about Boko Haram or Fulani herdsmen killing or Mieti Allah terrorism, Buhari will not go to sleep. He will do as if he didn't hear it. That is when you will know that Buhari is crafty, is what will I say? Is compromised with the situation of insecurity in the Damnable Zoological Republic. So this thing we are doing to ourselves, we are doing a very big disservice to our own faith, to our own religion. When we say we don't believe, or some people who are criticizing the church recently, you are criticizing the Messiah. Some people say they don't believe. When you criticize Messiah, Jesus Christ, have you fought other religion? You never fought it. If you say there is no God or there is no Jesus Christ, okay, why can't you say that the other people who believe in their own Messiah called Muhammad, why can't you speak against it? Speak now, let me see if your head will remain on your neck. So we see that we are doing ourselves disservice. You cannot bring down your own kingdom and expect your own kingdom to stand. That's what Jesus Christ said. Nobody will defy his own kingdom and expect it to stand. Or Satan cannot defy his own kingdom and his kingdom stand. That if he casts a devil by the name of the devil, then his own kingdom will not stand. Or if he casts if he casts himself in the name of God, his own kingdom will not stand. So if you are born in the church, raised in the church, let the person not speak against the Messiah, Jesus Christ. This is area I'm having some kind of dispute. Allow the dead to bury the dead. Let the living live. This way we can unite. But our own religious leaders who are Christians, they are not coming up to tell us the reality. That's where I'm getting it at times. Wrong, very, very wrong. They are being timid. They are being, mute of what is going on. Some other people are using their own religions to frustrate us, to intimidate us, to rubbish us, and we are keeping quiet. I think I need to stop it from here because there are a lot of things to talk about this. Like I said, the issue of religion is too complex. You might try to patch one side and the other side will be leaking. That is where the religion is too complex and too sensitive. Thank you from here.
Thank you, Machineke. At this point, we need to draw the curtain because it's not time for long broadcast. It's time for actions. What we expect to see from the criminal, political pastors, bishops, and that the GOs is for them to change. It's for them to start doing the needful. Stop scamming the indigenous people of the land. Stop doing fake miracles to scam them. Stop doing fake prophecy and fake visions. If you cannot see vision that can bring Biafra, you are useless. If you cannot see vision that can deliver all the prisoners of conscience that are being held by the zoo terrorists, you are useless. If you cannot see visions that can give us solutions of how to destroy the Fulani terrorists who have turned your congregational members to become slaves, to live in IDP camps, then you are useless. If we cannot see visions of telling us when and where the next plan of the Fulani terrorists are coming in and what they have planned to come and do to the indigenous people in that community, your vision is useless. You're just useless. How can you be talking of vision, talking of seeing things in the spiritual, and then you cannot see and project what is to come tomorrow? You are useless. Stop scamming the people. Nigerian terrorist government and UK, which gave the autonomy of power to the Fulani terrorists in 1966, in 1900 to this very day, are still here again. And then they are aiding and abetting the same thing, and they have just come and open their mouth and tell you that they have officially made Nigeria to be Islamic State. You are comfortable with it because it is not your business. Your business is all about the tithe and offering. You cannot even come out to debunk and ask the country, why will you say that we are in a secular state while you segregate some people and you forcefully put all of them in one place and say they are all jihadists? Did we say we all buy the idea? And these same people that they have come out to say you are all jihadists and that you are part and parcel of them are the same people that are massacring your women and children every day. This is an example.
Waɗanda suke magana cewa sai an rama a bi su a kama su, an kashe mana namu. Waɗannan me suka yi da aka kashe su? Mu unguwan domai muka yi ma mutane, muna son duniya ta ji, let the world hear this. It has been in record every day. We have been killed as flies. And when we talk, people say we are lying. The government is not there to defend us. We've never seen any government that so desire in blood sucking like this government. And when we talk, people say that we are being biased. People talk that we are not supporting the party or supporting the government. Which kind of government is that allows people, his own citizens, to be killed every day? We are being killed every day. God will fight for us. God will raise a standard for us. And if they have the weapon, we will have our own God. We pray God to rise on our behalf. Yes. And let the world know.
Can you hear the stupidity? God will come and fight for us. God will raise stones to come and fight for us. Fulani terrorists are using AK-47 to kill you, and you say God will come and raise stones to come and fight for you. Fulani terrorists are using themselves, young and old. You can see a child of 4 and 5 putting knife on the head of a human being, cutting it off, and then they are doing it and they are singing praises in their own ways. And you are saying God will come and fight for us. God will come and raise stones and sticks.
I like what Benjamin Netanyahu said. He quoted Bible in his last comment. He said, there is time for everything. Time for peace, time for ceasefire, and time for war. And that time of war is now. That's what Benjamin Netanyahu said. And I believe him. There is time for everything. There is time that you make peace with the terrorists. There is time we make peace. You ceasefire with terrorists. There is time for war. War is battle to battle. That's why the psalmist said in Psalm 144 verse 1, said, "Blessed be the Lord my God, who trained my hand for war and my finger to fight." Okay? Who trained my hand for war and my finger to fight? You are there, you are being lavishing day by day. They are coming with their word, their weapon to kill you, and you are there talking. The Bible said the God is a God, is a consuming fire, is a man of war. That's what Bible said, that God is a man of war. That in the whole Bible, there's no prophet, there's no disciple, there's no apostle in the Bible that preach violence. It's only the person we call Messiah, Jesus Christ. He said, from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. And you are there. Look at the dead that is on the floor. You are saying, God, how are you praying? Can you do fasting? like Elijah to call that fire? Eh?
David did not go and sleep when he saw that the children of Israel were outnumbered.
He fought 66 battles in the Bible, 66 battles, and he won all.
Yeah? But these useless people here are telling you that God will raise stones to come and go and fight battle for them. Whereas the people that killed their congregation members, they are human beings. They are not stones that were raised by another God. And you are waiting for God to come and raise stones to come and go and fight and avenge for you. Instead of you to now mobilize your congregational members and tell them they have killed 500. Now you have 300 left in the congregation. What you need to do is to go and sell your cloak. Let us join the money and buy our own weapon because it is time to fight. You now go into the treasury, you look for how much the church have that they have contributed so far from the tithe and offering. You go and start procuring your own weapons. And then you set a defense mechanism. You lay siege for the terrorists for when they are coming to invade again to come and kill you people. You kill them back. Instead, you are praying and saying that God will raise stones to come and fight. Then you, as human being, you are waiting for God to raise stones to come and fight for you. When Biafran Liberation Army are fighting every day, you people will say, oh, we don't know what we are doing. This is what we are affecting from Biafra land. We are affecting this kind of situation. We affect this situation that you see here. And it is not stones, it is not wood, it is not iron that are fighting. It is human beings that are using the guns and bullets to make sure they expunge these terrorists from all this happening in Biafra land. The people that set this pace for you, they are enjoying you crying like this, like Mumu, because they gave you this mindset of do not fight. Or when they slap you here, they turn the other side, may they slap you because you want to be a very holy Christian. This massacre that you see here happened in 2021 when MNK was kidnapped. And in 2022, this man have buried more and more of the church members like this. In 2023, before the elections of 2023, he has buried more, and the videos are there. And even after the elections, he has buried more. I don't even know why they have spared his life to keep him, to be the one to be doing the burying, because they suppose don't carry him, so that he go see the people where they don't take already, so that they know how hard and how bad it is for someone to be wandering in an atmosphere that he or she did not prefer prematurely. So your freedom is in your own hands. Your freedom is not, see, God said, I have given you dominion over everything on this earth. He created you and then gave you dominion over everything. You are the one to take dominion over the guns and the ammunition. And then maneuver the guns and ammunition and then use it to destroy anyone that is coming to destroy you. But this one is telling the congregation, God will raise stones to come and fight for you. Was it stones that were raised to come and kill you, or they were human beings like you? Do they have 3 heads or do they have 1 head? Do they have 4 heads or 5 heads? No. This is why we say that the pastors and bishops, the prophets, and the criminals have done what? Enslaved the mindset of the indigenous people, massacred by the Fulani terrorists. Because you have not awoken their mindsets. Your voices would have gone very far in the liberation of the people. The way you would have changed your preaching and your sermon and your doctrines and congregational practice would have cleared and educated the mindset of the people, brainstormed them, prepared them to face what is to come. And they will not be defenseless when the terrorist now comes. They will understand that they've had this drill of being able to defend themselves before this time. But now, they'll continue to act as cowards in these very ways. And more Fulani terrorists that are coming are going to come and massacre them, because we have useless people that call themselves religious leaders. The people that planned it and made it did not start today, because they knew when they bring the Christian religion to you that you will be so foolish to pick it. This is where it all started.
Right, I'm going to conduct a really interesting interview today with a gentleman I've met at the Nigerian High Commission. Very interesting gentleman who's been connected with Nigeria for one way or another, probably over the last
well, since 1970. I went to Nigeria in 70.
Okay, if you please like to just give me a bit of insight that you gave me earlier on with regard to Nigeria and the whole politics and the issues that we're having today. It'd be really interesting to get an angle from you on what exactly happened.
Well, for me, the problem today, wow, it goes back to the Muslim conquest of the north with Usman Dan Fodio and the Fulani Hausa conquest of the north, and the north becomes Muslim. And when the British colonized the north in 1900, what do we, the British, do? We very cleverly rule with a few hundred district officers through the Muslim emirs. It was the best thing that ever happened to Islam in Nigeria. Because before then, if you were a Muslim, you went, say, to the Tiv area, what would happen? You'd be dead. Under the British, you could go as a Muslim trader and you could live and you could spread your message of Islam. So the British enabled Islam to spread in Nigeria, and the British stopped the spread of Christianity because Lugard kept missionaries out of the north. He only let missionaries go to the parts that were not under Muslim rule, like the Jos Plateau. So the Christian church in the Middle Belt thrived in areas that had never been conquered by the House of Fulani. Why are there huge areas of the north of Nigeria depopulated today? The answer is jihad. Because those who weren't enslaved by the House of Fulani or conquered by the House of Fulani, they either died by the sword or they fled to the hills, like the plateau, like the Goza Hills in Bornu. And in those hills, when I was there in the 1970s, there were no Muslims, none whatsoever. The people followed African traditional religion and were becoming Christians. Because
the people followed the African traditional religion because that was their way of worship, until they understood that they need to use something to brainwash all of you and bring this weakling mindset that a pastor will now stand and see his children massacred and littered on the ground. Instead of him to think of how to massacre the people that massacred his children, the next thing he will say is that God giveth, God taketh, God knows how they went. God will now raise stones to come and fight the battle for me.
Down on the plain, it was the Muslim Kanuri, and they're the ones that slave raided. So what's going on today in the Middle Belt? It's nothing to do with herdsmen and farmers. It's nothing to do with Muslim herdsmen, nomadic Fulani, and settled Christian farmers. No, and it's certainly nothing to do with climate change driving out the Fulani. This is quite simply jihad. This is just an extension of Usman Dan Fodio's jihad by other means. But nobody in England dare call it jihad because they're...
Tell that pastor that what is happening to his church congregation that we massacred in front of him is simply jihad. There is nothing like communal clash. There is nothing like internal clash. There is nothing like Hausa and TV or Kanuri people are fighting. This is jihad. And when you see jihad coming, you are there calling on God to come and raise stones to come and fight for you. Whereas in the church where they teach those people how to massacre, they are also using a pamphlet called Quran to also preach to them that they need to see you as an infidel because you are not of the same religion with them. But you're dying in ignorance and stupidity of all time. So with all this, when you don't preach what you're supposed to preach to the congregation, to gear their mindset into being what? Bold enough to face the terrorists that are coming, facing the reality in its real form, not acting in disguise, not running away from the reality, not doing as if you don't know what it really is. You continue to be burying the people in the congregation. When you finish burying the choristers, you now bury the deacons. Later, you bury the elders. Later, you now enter the children congregation and bury all of them. Later, you now bury the women congregation. Later, you now bury all the priests. Then you now be the last one. Continue preaching, God will come and raise stones. Then you will tell us whether the African Liberation Army that are fighting, they are stones. They are not human beings.
They're all shit scared of being called Islamophobic. Well, I'm not. I don't hate any Muslims, but I think Islam is of the devil, and it has to rule, and it must rule Nigeria. Islam, a religion of peace, don't make me laugh.
It has to rule, and it must rule Nigeria. It has to rule, and it must rule Nigeria. That is why Cameroon nonsense of UK, after having meeting with all the Islamic criminal jihadist people, came out and told you that one Nigeria is now an Islamic and jihadist state. Forcefully, that is what this man have just explained to you. That they said it must rule Nigeria, and it has to rule Nigeria. And all of you are not taking it serious. This is far back as at 1900. Far back as at 1900. They have been drawing this thing from that time down to 1960. That is why when there was independence in 1960, the same constitution that was drawn far back in 1914 is what was handed over to them in 1960, which gave dominance of power and control to the Northern Caliphate. So that all of you continue to remain under, okay, till this very day, do they allow you to be the one to rule? They know that when you rule, you have come to conquer them. So the same Britain that started this thing and gave them the Harley way all the way from 1900 are the same Britain today that come out boldly to come and tell you, all of you are in jihadist country. This is the same reason why they aided the genocide of 1966 to 70s, so that they can sustain this jihad, because it is to their own benefit. You know how much they are making from it? That is why England will never support anything good that will liberate you. They will only support something that will impoverish you. And then in the other side will replenish their pocket. That is what they are doing. And you are there saying God will come and raise stones to come and fight for you. Whereas God raised human beings for them to fight against you. And you are waiting for stones to come and fight against human beings.
Where is Islam a religion of peace? Where Islam rules. Where it doesn't, that is the region of war. That is Islamic theology. That's what this is. So those who are for violent jihad, in my view, they have the historic pedigree in Islam. They're the Salafists. Now, Islam is a broad church. Islam encompasses all lots of people. Most Muslims are not terrorists. But the people around us today, here and in Nigeria, who are terrorists, by and large are Muslims, and a particular kind of Muslims. They are violent Wahhabi Salafists. When I say that, I won't have some idiot accusing me of Islamophobia. They should credit me with a little knowledge of Islam, its history and theology. This isn't about Muslims versus Christians. It's about Islam must rule, Islam must triumph. And that's the case in Nigeria, and it's the case here too. Except here they can be a bit quieter about it.
It is about Islam must rule, jihad must rule. That is why UK came out to tell you that that country has been totally Islamized. I want you people to give your closing remarks in submission with what you have to say while we draw the curtain. Thank you, my ministers. Ada BIAFRA, you go first.
Okay. Thank you, my minister, once more. My people, you know, we don't gather here because we have all the time. We come here all this while because Biafra coming is our main issue, and it is something that we all have to, you know, be very serious with. Our leader is still being incarcerated. Our prime minister needs our financial support in order to take care of everything going on, so that our people will have a very good Christmas. Because our enemies are not relenting. This intensified attack on our people only started recently, but I can assure you people that since 1960, this had been the agenda, and a war has been fought, and they are not giving up. Okoko ndem si na onye ndị ilo gbara gburugburu na-eche ndụ ya nche mgbe niile. Ndị Biafra, unu alarụ n'ụla. Ife anyị niile gbakọtara ebe a because I'm after the number of people na I watch. We are not time wasters. Biafrans are not known as time wasters. Onye ọbụla wake up, be very serious. There's a time for us to enjoy, and there's a time for us to work hard. And I think that the hard working period is now. Let's not make any mistakes. Even onye na-eje nya bụ Christmas, because it's like a month today, this time, there will be Christmas. And the fana mano oge, ndị Christians ji anauno ezuike. I can assure you also that many people Ghana amanachi, because ndị akutulu ụnọ fe nwere ebe fanako. So fanaluzie fanodo n'ụnọ. You have to sleep with one eye and with one eye open. Ndị agbala gburugburu. Fagala around. And if unu geji praise Mazi Simon, our prime minister, but that no Biafra Liberation Army and ESN, I'm telling you, Makanos also buying kama fundi na akpo isi ani. Forget about ndi befa no na buy na chiefi. Ndi bi no were na ndi bi na Abakaliki na akpo isi ani. Ndi anwa bụ pure Fulanese. Anyị nwa as indigenes of Southeast. Anyị ada akpo isi ani. Eziokwu ka m na-agwa unu, anyị ada akpo isi ani. And that drum show no nwere onye n'ime unu na ebe a dị ready ikpo isi ani. So if I ga-ejisi ike na-emebi ịgbasa ozi ọma, anytime unu fụrụ any one of us nọ here, jisi n'ike like ya, subscribe to YouTube onye afọ, so that anytime I know on, you will get the alert or the notification, so that I na commune with each other. We have to communicate and talk. Ne device means of solving our problems. Nsogbu dị too much. Maka onye na-akụkpọ ụlọ gị ọ chọrọ gị ndụ. Ọ chọọ ọ bụ mmiri na-ezo ya magbuo gị, ọ bụla anwụ na-etinye magbuo gị. Whatever you do, whatever happens to you, they don't care. They don't care. Kita fa kutusigokwa na Lagos fesizie ụlọ ndị be anyị dị na Abuja. You know, onwe complex onye Igbo fa na akutu recently na Abuja, and all the 1, 2, 3 story building. And faneji kutu this house. Ndị mmadụ nọsikwa n'enu. The caterpillar na-aga. One man neti hey na-asị ya, Are you going to bulldoze this house? People are upstairs. And only with that owner. So my people, you know, okpanokpoko gburu ọkwa ntị chilie o. Anyị nwa nọrọ nso, but ọ na-ewute anyị ife na-eme to you people. Unu ga-adị extremely very careful. Dịkwazi supportive to one another. Kita abụrụ oge a na-ese okwu among ourselves. Ife kita abụ oge eji etinye obi together. Maka na ndị a na-achụ anyị ife adị together. Ịma na azịza dị n'ukwu otigbuo ijiji. Ọ bụrụ na anyị unite ya, etu anyị si anọchiri ndị a. Ọ bụrụ na ọ bụrụ ka ESN si anọchiri fa anya aka dịgo flooded with them. And the fadi bukwa flooded, but ESN came and drove them away. Fa wee zitezie ndị amị. Maka na ụmụ oge our prime minister na-eme his daily broadcast. Ọ na-egosi anyị that one army officer said that since the Boko Haram could not do the work, that they, the military, will go and do the work. If any one of you remembers here, the person can attest to this very statement I made now. So, India found the very serious, very, very tenacious. He gather southeast, kpochapụ anyị ọ ife bụ mkpafa. Maka na fa ma n'Igbo na anyị bụ ndị na-adị isi ike. Anyị bụ ndị na-adị isi ike. Anyị abụrụ ndị na-abụ when anything happens, I say, okay, let it be. No, anyị na-like ịgba mbọ ka nwoke. Gbasie mbọ ike ma nwoke ma nwaanyị dị n'ime anyị. And onwe one history nga like to remind our people. During the time of slave trade, some Igbo men that were being taken to America for slavery, because in those days they used to take them to Mississippi, America, to go and work in plantations. All of them decided that they will never be slaves. For wunyeni notion, funny nenine. And those people who bufa, they couldn't help themselves. Fasi kama faga bu slave. Maka ife ndị a na-akpọ anyị bu slave fa. And the far draw line na nekwe boga bu onye southeast level igelu, you will not cross there. That's why faje demolish una. E demolish isi uno. Kede onye ji 300 million we lụọ uno. How many years ka ọ ga-take from now iji kpata ụdị ego afọ? And some of them are digo matured in age. So we need to be very, very careful and very supportive. Obulu go to $1 or $2. Ebany the 70 million or more, we will be contributing $70 million. Eweli ene golundi angwara. Mako ife tonyelundi akanonu. You can imagine for a defense minister to come and be complaining about our prime minister. That means na the thing na fiafaru. Odirolu fizi. Kesi ebufa kita. Egu na tuzi fasef ebia southeast. Because na nyiji ife faji. Oge ndi ba anye enwero ife faji kafa na ebu anye anyhow. But now they don't. So our prime minister and his cabinet members need that financial support. Onye obuna no mie n'afọ ka ijisi ke me ifa. And oburu no nwe any man of God no here. Nyaje na meeting ndi Christian Association in Nigeria. They should remind them no ge lugokwa o. Bible ni na egu the Old Testament onwere ụmụ Israel nugidela agha throughout. And each time fa na-eje agha, Chukwu na-ezi mọma ndị nsọ eje nyefa revelation ife fa ga-eme before they go to war. You know? So I don't know. Ife mma bụ na fa ma emeli anyị with the kind of person our prime minister bụ. Ọ ṅụrụ iyi. He said instead that we will not get this Biafra, that he will turn to a beast. So you can imagine for somebody to say that kind of thing. So I want everybody to remain like that, and I want the men of God in Nigeria to wake up and debunk this fact that the whole of Nigeria is an Islamic state, because my people are still trapped there. We are not. Let them continue with their own religion and allow us to worship in our own religion as well. So, my minister, I will leave it here, and it shall be well with my people. All hail Biafra. Remember, it is peace, unity, progress, and equity for us. All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra. Thank you, Biafra. Massacre.
Thank you. I'm not going to say much. Ada Biafra have said all I wanted to say. Like the last caption, he said that the Prime Minister said, instead of him not to get Biafra, he thought to be. It's not only that one that I heard from him. He said if he takes him to use devil to get Biafra, that he will get. So such a person who is making such a kind of utterance is not somebody you can say you don't mean what he's saying, or you don't devote his life for such a liberation. So he's totally determined. And like our leader Nnamdi Kanu told Dele Momodu, when Dele Momodu asked him whether if in this struggle he was going and something happens to him, he said, look, that he's already dead. The only thing that can bring him alive is Biafra. He's already dead. He said he's not a living soul. He's already dead. So Biafrans, we are following the right leaders, and the Prime Minister Massacre. So everything they said goes. I won't waste much of your time because Ada Biafra have said it all. So I thank you all for being with us this evening. Thank you, my host, my comrade, Sonia Aparawa. Bless you for bringing up this program this evening. So from wherever you are watching us from, I say good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Bye from me, Battlecry TV.
Thank you, Mwachineke, and thank you to all Biafrans. And I'm pasting the link to Biafra Petty's YouTube channel on the comment section. So please click the link, go there, continue watching, and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Massacre, please post it on your comment section as well. Okay, subscribe to our YouTube channel and continue watching from there. Enable the notification bell so that when she comes live, you can be able to get the message of Biafra.
Yes, my viewers and person as well, not in my own channel, so that you can subscribe to the channel of Ada Biafra. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all Biafrans. Remember that our fundraising comes up every Saturday. It has become a custom, same way our Monday sit at home has become. Keep your eyes on the ball. Focus on pushing the awareness of the achievements of the Biafran Republic government in exile and the de facto government in the homeland under the leadership of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko. Push all the templates that we have to go out to defeat. Let the whole world understand and know that Biafra is here, and let what Nigeria understand that they cannot kidnap Mazi Simon Ekpa like they kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It was because we had foolish people, those that never wanted Biafra, all around Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That was why they were able to sell Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out for a pot of porridge. But you see this Biafra that we are here now, you see this government of BRGIE, you cannot bring it down. Not with your propaganda, not with your blackmail, not with your slander, not with your mischievousness, not with your gossips, not with your pretentious act, not with whatever you do. If you're waiting to see that BRGIE falls, and they fail, maybe that is when you start learning something. We are open to criticism, we are open to argument, and we are open to anything that will come our way, because that is the qualities of those that will be able to lead people. Not those that are not ready to listen to what you're saying and how you're criticizing us. That is why your blackmails and slander and propaganda has not stopped us from focus. So bring it on. The more you attack this man called Igboki of our time, the more the venoms in him emanate. The more the spirit of Biafra descends on him, the more. So let it come. Continue bringing it on until we get there. Thank you all.
Biafrans all over the world, let us continue to support Eastern Security Network and Biafra Liberation Army. Every day they stand in the gap to defend us and only need our support to do the work they do. For the safety, security, and freedom of our communities. Let us do this together. Go to www.ipobinUSA.org/DONATE. Also go to www.biafrarepublicgov.org/DONATE, where you can pay your liberation tax. We also accept donations on PayPal and Zelle. Just use the email address biafragov.org@gmail.com. For those in USA, we also accept donations or Cash App at $BIAFRAGOV. Freedom is not free, and together we restore it.
Nigerian service chiefs have joined the chorus of those crying. This particular issue has exposed the heinous truth of what has been going on within the Biafra territory. We understand they have used terrorism, they have used force against everyone, so nobody has got to speak up. But hey, those of you who are in position to speak up, why are you not speaking up? Today they have come to say Nigeria is an Islamic state, and you have pastors who all they do is to scam the people of Biafra. We are going to impose a very heavy sanction on the church, especially those that are having services in Biafra territory, because you have failed to uphold your values as people of God. So the Biafra government is putting you on notice, since the church and Christians in Biafra land have refused to speak up in one voice against the systematic conquest of our own people. We will make you to stand on your toe. You are being addressed as an Islamic state, and you dare not to talk, and you expect the Biafra government to look or overlook you, when you are in a better position to educate your congregation of what is going on in Nigeria. Going forward, we are coming with a very stringent measures against you in Biafra land. Biafra land will no longer be conducive for those who are hiding under Christian and supporting the Islamization and the killing going on in Biafra land, because your voice would go a very long way in bringing the awareness of our freedom to show that we are not accepting Islamic State. But that you have refused to do. All the big pastors, fathers, and whatever, Biafra government is taking charge very, very soon. It is time for everyone to wake up. Now, the Nigerian service chiefs have joined the chorus of those crying. This particular issue has exposed the heinous truth of what has been going on within the Biafra territory. We understand they have used terrorism, they have used force against everyone, so nobody has got to speak up. But hey, those of you who are in position to speak up, why are you not speaking up? Today they have come to say Nigeria is an Islamic state, and you have pastors who all they do is to scam the people of Biafra. We are going to impose a very heavy sanction on the church, especially those that are having services in Biafra territory, because you have failed to uphold your values as people of God. So the Biafra government is putting you on notice, since the church and Christians in Biafra land have refused to speak up in one voice against the systematic conquest of our own people. We will make you to stand on your toe. You are being addressed as an Islamic state, and you dare not to talk, and you expect the Biafra government to look or overlook you when you are in a better position to educate your congregation of what is going on in Nigeria. Going forward, we are coming with a very stringent measures against you in Biafra land. Biafra land will no longer be conducive for those who are hiding under Christian and supporting the Islamization and the killing going on in Biafra land, because your voice would go a very long way in bringing the awareness of our freedom to show that we are not accepting Islamic State. But that you have refused to do. All the big pastors, fathers and whatever, Biafra government is taking charge very, very soon.